everybody again to tonight's leadership event, leadership panel, Know Before You Go. My name is Maria Martinez, and tonight I have the privilege of moderating this conversation. As you can see, look around your screen, look around those Brady Bunch squares. As you can see, I am surrounded by an explosion of positive energy and empowerment and servant leaders. Time is of the essence, so I am going to go ahead and get started with some introductions. Not before reminding you that there are going to be a lot of things happening this evening. We're going to move quickly. But before we get to the meat, to the most important aspect of this conversation, which is those questions, we're going to, please, I ask that you help me and welcome our panelists, our distinguished panelists this evening. Let me start with past International Director, past District 84 Governor, distinguished Toastmaster Dennis Woolridge. Immediate past District Director, distinguished Toastmaster Ben Parpart.
Hi, everyone.
Our current District 84 Director, distinguished Toastmaster Debbie Jo Londono. Program Quality Director, distinguished Toastmaster Paula Suma.
Hello.
Our Club Growth Director, distinguished Toastmaster Vicki Goodman.
Hi, everybody.
Past Division, I think, C Director, distinguished Toastmaster Marie Loeffler. Is that right, Marie, Division C?
Yes. Yep. Hi, everyone.
Our current Division H Director, Felicia Shorter.
Hello, everyone.
Past Area Director and this year's Pathways Chair, distinguished Toastmaster Rachel Azignon.
Hi, everyone.
I practice all these names, I promise, but it's the pressure of being live that gets you. Current Area 21 Director, Rachel Sudfin.
Hello.
Our time and time again Conference Chair, distinguished Toastmaster Barbara Amato.
Hello, everyone.
Our Education and Speakers Bureau Chair, distinguished Toastmaster Edith Kienken. And also with us this evening, providing support to this event, our Zoom moderator, Sue Lathrop, who is also one of our chairs, and our logistic managers, and a member of the PR team on the podcast team, Leslie Laforti.
Hello.
As you can see, guys, there's no shortage of wisdom and amazing leaders here with us this evening and across District 84. Leaders who at some point joined, like you, maybe to work on their public speaking, maybe to work on communication, and they found themselves in a position just like yours tonight, wondering, where should I take my leadership journey next? Where can I go from here? Like them, you might be thinking, what's next? How can I take full advantage of all of the opportunities that are afforded to me by being a member of this great organization? To explore this topic further, we have aligned several questions, many of you provided by you during the registration process. Thank you. And to make sure that we cover as many topics as we can, we have asked our panelists this evening to be succinct. So this is what I affectionately call those table topics on steroids. So we're going to be moving quickly. Be aware that if there's more information that you like, please, all of our panelists have agreed to make themselves available to you. The program will include their email addresses. So please do not hesitate to reach out to any of them or to myself, and we will be delighted to have one-on-one conversations with you, mentor you along the way, and perhaps invite you to take that next step on your leadership journey. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get started. Panelists, are you ready?
Ready.
Ready. Heads moving. All right. So I'm going to go straight to our district director, Debbie Jo Londono. Debbie, how would you define district leadership?
Thank you, Maria. District leadership it's so much more than a requirement for your DTM. It's an opportunity to see the bigger picture, to serve more people. You have the chance to be involved with decisions that impact the district, not only for the year that you serve, but sometimes for years to come, not only for the year you serve, also for years to come. So what you'll do is serve your term with fellow Toastmasters that are passionate about making a difference. You develop skills that you didn't know you had. And our goal, of course, is to have fun doing it. I've made so many wonderful friends. I've learned so much about myself. And let me just tell you, I highly recommend it. Thank you.
The next question is for Paula. Paula, our program quality director. Paula, how do I know the difference between an elected and an appointed position?
An elected position is where you are nominated by someone, or you could nominate yourself, and then you are interviewed by either the PIMS committee, the DLC committee, if it's for a district leadership role, for example, one of the trio roles or a division director, those would be elected/nominated positions. People would vote on you once you're approved by the committee. People would vote on you, members would vote during the business council meeting. And that compared to an appointed position, which would be an area director or many of the chairs or other leadership roles such as the administrative officer, the logistics manager, things like that. Those are appointed roles. And in those roles, you still need to fill out the same application, but you are interviewed by either one of the trio or myself in the terms of an area director, and then you would be appointed to that role without having to go through an election.
Vicki, another very important question. How do we know when we're ready to serve? How do you know you were ready to serve?
A great question, and I have to admit, other people told me I was ready to serve. Other people said, you know, I think I see something in you. I'm sure some of you have been tapped on the shoulder by such an angel. And I have to admit, I reviewed it in my mind because I'd heard lots of different things, but then I spoke to people and I realized even so many years of Toastmaster experience that I had under my belt, it was really kind of just rolling along. I needed a new challenge. It was time for me to try something a little more difficult, a little more challenging. And that's why I figured, you know what? The next step up is the way to go.
Thank you, Vicki. I know that it's so amazing when somebody sees that light in you, when you perhaps have not considered yourself worthy of taking that next step, and yet there's somebody along the way that comes and say, this is in you, I think you can do it. Now, among ourselves, and as you heard me say earlier, we have a past international director with us. And Dennis, this question is for you. How is serving at the international level different from serving at the district or even at a local level?
Thanks, Maria. Yeah, I think that the differences are not that many, quite frankly. I think it's just in the matter of size of what you're dealing with. When you're a club officer, your primary responsibility is the members of your club. When you're a member of the DEC or the district executive committee, it's either you're an area governor concerned with the members of your area, or division is the same. District is district-wide. When you're a district leader, you're concerned with all of the members within the district. And as an international director, you're concerned with all of the members on a global basis, which is a truckload of members, believe me. I think the only other thing that makes a difference is when you reach the international level, you're dealing with two things. You're dealing with what is best for the members and what is best for the organization. And quite frankly, sometimes those are in opposition with each other. So you have to balance those out and figure out, you know, which is best, because we do want the organization to continue. But I think that's the main differences.
Now, Pim, this is a fun question for you, Pim. Having served in just about all of the positions across the district, which one is your favorite and why?
I believe the best position I feel is the district director position, because you are put in the position and have the power to make a difference. You are in a position to be able to bring new ideas and strategies to the district to improve the district. But let me share with you the most fun position will be program quality director, because we had to do TRI trainings twice and the conference. And when I was serving as PQD, it was still live. So running a TRI for 500 in-person people, that was phenomenal. I enjoyed very much. Of course, you don't do that alone. I have education chair, Barbara, she's here, and the conference chair, Gail, to help those. But doing a TRI twice and the conference as a PQD, that's the most fun position for me.
I love it. And I love every step of the way you've kept a smile. So thank you. You inspire us all. Now, I know this question is one that is probably in all of your minds. It's about time. I saw this a few times on Facebook when I asked the question, and even just a few minutes ago, DJ said, I want to know about time. So I'd like 3 perspectives on this next question. The question is, what is the time commitment? So I'm going to ask Debbie to tell us from a trio perspective. I'm going to ask Felicia after that to tell us as a division director. And then I'd like to hear from Barbara as a chair. Tell us from your role and your perspective, what kind of time commitment are we talking about here? Does anybody else want to know about that? Because I know that was important to me. So let's start with Debbie.
Thank you, Maria. I believe that with all that we've learned the past couple of years, with the changes that have happened in the world and technology that's available to us, I think the time commitment may be a little bit less than it used to be. But let me tell you, it still takes a lot of time. Regular meetings, there are forms, emails, phone calls. You have several committees that you need to constantly be, well, not constantly, but you need to be in contact with and meet with on a regular basis. So one thing that we've learned is it's important to pace yourself. You have to have a plan. I like checklists, and I really like checking things off that list, so I highly recommend it. I heard a quote that it's actually been credited to several different people, so I don't know who first said it, but it's do what you love and you'll never work a day in your life. And I feel like that really applies here. I spent countless hours. I have no idea how many hours I've spent in service to the district, and I've loved almost every minute of it. If I had to go back in time and know how much time it would take, but I could also know how much I would learn and grow and develop, I would absolutely do it all over again. Thank you, Maria.
Thank you, David. That did remind me of something that our International President Paige shared with us during her presentation here, is that often from an American standpoint, we think about how much time do I have to spend or invest on this task, whereas other cultures look at it as, how much time do I spend learning in this area? So she really challenged us that night, and that was one of the big takeaways for me. So thank you, Debbie. Let's hear from Felicia.
Hi, Maria. As division director, I will say I did not predict the amount of time it would take. And part of that is because it was almost effortless. I actually was enjoying it. I did realize that there are seasons. So the first part of the year, not as busy because you're really working with the area directors. So it's not as much time involved, but contest season, let me tell you, I have just given over myself to helping. The wonderful part about it is that you put in the hours, you have to check emails, you have to check your text, you have to learn your form of communication. And I realized to my area directors, just text me. Even if you email me, text me and say, Felicia, read the email, because I knew I could have a better response time. The other thing is I had to really schedule myself. I had to accept that there were going to be meetings after 8 and that I needed a fueling before that. So I had to plan my little snack so that I would be ready for the 8 o'clock or the 9 o'clock meeting. But when I saw them successful, that was when I knew time didn't matter. When my first area director finished her contest, I was proud for her because she had put in the work, and I was proud to say that I was right there with her. So the time disappeared. I didn't realize how much time it took. So it varies is what I will say. Thanks, Maria.
It varies. Good point. And time. You talked about time, but what a great segue. Because next we'd like to hear from our time and time again conference chair. So Barbara, from your perspective, what kind of time commitment are we talking about here?
Well, I will tell you, as conference chair, especially conference chair for time and time again, there's a lot going on, but it's a labor of love. It started out a little slow, and then I had a big bunch of time while I was getting my teams together. And I imagine before it's done, I'm going to have a real run at the end as we get going. What I found though is that if I keep it organized, then I keep it controlled. I can't check my emails at work. And I tell people that all the time. If I don't answer you right away, I understand. But I work every night. I check my emails a couple times a day. I keep everything organized in a spreadsheet because that's the way I like to do it. I put what I need to do, what's next, who I need to contact. I have my whiteboard next to me here with that. All my little things to make it work easier. I will say my living room's a little bit messier than it used to be because I moved out of my office into the living room and I've got conference stuff, but I don't mind because, as I said, it's a labor of love. I never thought I would do a conference chair because of the time commitment, but I'm finding that it is so much fun. And here's what I love the most. What I love the most about what I'm doing is all of the wonderful people that I get to know better. Leslie and I have built a beautiful relationship. It's a good example of someone that I barely knew. Rachel, amazing. So those relationships with Edith and all of the people working with me, that makes every bit of it worthwhile. And I love it.
Fantastic. Thank you, Barbara. I agree. Every aspect of our operations works because we have great teams in place. And I have seen that firsthand. Now let's talk about the division director position, and let's talk to Marie and Felicia specifically. Marie, what did you do to prepare for that particular role?
Well, thank you, Maria. I did what Toastmasters do best. I talked. I talked to people who had been division directors. I talked to trio members, past and present. I talked to everyone and anyone who I could catch their ear. And then another important Toastmaster lesson was I listened to what they told me, which to me was a challenge at times because I do like to be on the talking end of things, but I did listen and I listened closely and I asked them for their opinions. And then I did the infamous plus and minus list, and the plus side definitely outweighed the minus side. So that's basically what I did from a district perspective. But then also personally, I was a little bit apprehensive about leading a team. So I did grab a couple of books from some of my favorite authors like John Maxwell, and I read through those books about their advice on leading a team. So those were the two things primarily that I did to prepare for that position. Thanks, Maria.
I love that. And I do know that there's nothing here that happens in a vacuum, right? One of my favorite aspects is the ability to mentor and to be mentored. So thank you for pointing that out, Marie, standing in the shoulders of those that have gone before you. That's beautiful. All right, so similarly, the role of the area director, we all know, is critical. In fact, I saw earlier today a video that Debbie had created last year that speaks of the area director as the link between the club and the district. And that was that brought such a powerful imagery to me. So let's talk about that. Let's start with Rachel Asignon. Rachel, tell me a little bit about what being an area director means to you.
Being an area director means that you are a resource for the clubs that are under your leadership. You're not their supervisor. You're not the hammer that's bringing the power or anything like that. You're a resource. And the nice thing about our structure is that if I don't know what kind of resources to give to them, I have a division director, I have the trio, I have different chairs on the district that are a resource to me that I can readily share to the rest of the club officers and club members. And it's really about connection, partnership, and creating not just a resource for me to them, but it works the other way too. They gave me a lot of resources that I could use and pass that on to other clubs. You don't need purple hair, but it does help.
Let's finish this question with Rachel Sutphin, and tell us in your own words, what does it mean to be an area director?
Maria, for me, director was or is still about awareness and connection. You start to think about all of those clubs that are in your area. I would have never potentially visited some of the clubs that I got to visit this year had I not been in this position. You learn about what makes each club special, and that helps me to market those clubs to future potential members to join them. You also become aware of the team that there is beyond the club level at the district, all of that leadership and what goes on behind the scenes to help make this district so wonderful. The connection part of it, you get to meet people that you may not have otherwise had a platform to meet, and you get to make a strong connection with the members in each of the clubs. And connection is so important because if your clubs feel comfortable and feel like they know you, then they'll be more likely to reach out to you when they need help and they're struggling. So it's about awareness and connection for me. Thank you, Maria.
I love that, Rachel. We might have to trademark that at some point. That's powerful. How do you prepare for the for the division director role?
Just like Maria, I ask questions and I talk to people. But the most important thing I did is I accepted the fear that was within me. I didn't think I could do it. I didn't think I was really qualified. I didn't feel like I could lead the team. And I had to listen to the people around me that says, embrace it. We are here to help you. There's tons of training. There's tons of opportunity. And we're Toastmasters. We are going to work with you. So my area directors are really the ones who pushed me to the next level of my learning, because now I looked and saw, wow, I can be helpful to people other than myself who are actually aspiring to be at different levels. So again, accept the fear. If you're wondering, if you're not sure, talk to someone. Don't stop because you feel that you can't do it, or you don't feel like you have the experience, because guess what? This is the experience. If you've never been a manager, here's your chance to try it out. As they used to say, put on some wheels on the tricycle first and then you take them off. So this is that tricycle if you've never done it. So again, accept the fear and talk to people. Thank you, Maria.
Wow, I love it. Reminds me of one of my favorite books, which is Feel the Fear and Do It Anyways. Right? But with help, with support, with a lot of other people that want to see you succeed. Thank you, Felicia. All right, so let's go back to Pim, our District Leadership Committee Chair. And Pim, would you just share with the audience tonight and tell us a little bit about the requirements for what we call the trio, the District Director, the Program Quality Director, and the Club Growth Director. And in the meantime, also Sue is posting some links that are of great interest to everybody here. So Pim, please address that question, and we'll look also at the chat box for the links to find out more.
Okay, listen up. This is very important. To serve as a district director, you must have served at least 6 months as a club president, and also you must have served as a division director or higher. So that's the requirement. For the program quality director, you must have served at least 6 months as a club president, and you must have served as an area director or higher mean the higher division director and all that up. And to be club growth director, again, you have to serve at least 6 months as club president and as area director or higher. So that's the minimum requirement really to serve. Thank you.
let's go again and talk about our chairs, right? These support roles that are so significant in our district performance. And I want to hear from Edith. We go to Edith and then to Barbara. But Edith, tell me, or tell us rather, what is the role of a chair in the overall picture of the district leadership?
Thank you and good evening, everyone. Definitely the role of a chair is to, first of all, ensure that you are aligned with the vision that the trio is bringing forth for that Toastmasters year. In doing so, we also need to keep in mind what is the mission of the district, because now we have to have an impact in all the membership of every single club. And I always say serving every member leads to greater clubs and every club to a greater district. And that's probably the most important thing that we need to keep in mind, how we chain that up. In doing so, we need to keep in mind two major elements. One is executing the functions of the chair. In my case, I'm a Speakers Bureau chair. That takes a whole journey of activities. And in the educational chair, it's another set of things. But at the end of the day, it's about how do we positively impact every member with the execution of those programs with high commitment and excellence, but above all, serving each member. Thank you.
I love it. And you do have two committees that you're overseeing this year. So I know. All right, let's hear from, same question for Barbara.
How do I follow that? That was amazing because Edith hit it all on the button. I can tell you how I envision myself. If you think about going to a concert and you have a conductor, and that conductor is just someone who's working with his teams. You have your woodwinds, you have your percussion. I have many teams that I'm working with. And I see my job as the chair for the conference of being the person to help and support each of these individual teams. I don't tell you what to do, although I'm not afraid if I need to step in and say, we're going in the wrong direction, we need to stay on mission. I can do that, but I want to watch the people on my teams develop and become stronger and become better servant leaders, because they will be fulfilled and we will offer a great product to our group afterwards. So as the conductor, I'm working with each team and each team member at whatever level that they need to help us reach our common goal.
Great analogy. I love it. I love it. Thank you, Barbara. All right, let's go back to our division directors. And I think Felicia kind of hinted at this a little bit, but we'd like to hear from both Marie and Felicia. Has your experience as a division director been applicable to other areas of your life? And tell us a little bit more about that. Let's start with Marie.
Okay, thank you, Maria. It has definitely been applicable to another area of my life, and in a rather surprising way, something I did not expect. One of the responsibilities of a division director was to explore new clubs and to potentially get new clubs into the division. And that was one role that I pretty much was in denial about, but had to face my fear, as Felicia said, and go do it with the support and the training that was provided. And I actually found a new confidence, a new way to persuade people. And essentially, when you go out on new club calls, it's a cold call. And that has helped me in my business to get out there and sell my programs and my services with much more confidence and with much more strength. So that was kind of a surprising benefit, but I'm extremely grateful for that to have developed. So thank you, Maria.
Excellent. How about you, Felicia? How has serving as a division director translated into other areas of life, whether it's personally or professionally?
Excellent question. First and foremost, it helps me at work. So I have these aspirations to be a manager one day. And by being a division director, it actually showed me my weak points. It exposed everything that I need to work on. I don't need my manager to tell me at work. I don't need anyone else to tell me. I have learned it up front. Here's a few things you've just got to work on. And by being a division director, I am practicing those things. And writing emails is torturous to me. I don't really care to do it. But guess what? I don't have a choice. So I have to push myself to effectively express myself. As you can tell, I love to talk, but writing is the other side. It's not as much fun to have to stop and write those thoughts and make sure they understand it. So it has actually helped me on my journey at work. It also helps me with my family, because by being a division director, I've identified 4 or 5 different personalities that I'm working with. And I realized that I have to make adjustments for different personalities. Some people need lots of information and some people just need the direction. And I'm learning to adjust. Now I can do that with my family and not get frustrated when one of them wants something different. So it has actually helped me quite a bit. Thanks, Maria.
I love it. That application into family, I can relate. Excellent. Thank you, Felicia. I'm so happy that Zoom offers the reactions because I love the hearts. It's like, all right, this is going to be a fun question. And this question goes to all of our panelists. We'll go round robin. First of all, what was your favorite part of serving in your role? Let's start with Dennis and we'll go around and around.
Well, I've served in an awful lot of roles, and each one of them I've had the pleasure of serving in those roles that gave me the opportunity to meet new people, make new friends, and feel like I was having a positive impact on people's lives. And I'll give you a really quick example of that. When I was the international director, I had to travel around to the different districts within our region. And I went to District 44 and I gave a presentation in which I based it on the song Brave. This week, I got a note from someone in District 44 after 8 years, when I did that speech, that it was still having an impact on their life. So this is the kind of thing that you can do in leadership. And the great thing too is if you have an impact, a positive impact on someone's life, and you have some influence with that person, that goes on like ripples in a pond. So it's this idea of being able to have such a positive impact. That was my favorite part of district leadership.
Oh, I love that. All right, Debbie.
Oh, what Dennis just said.
Right? I mean, we won't want that answer, but no, Debbie.
My favorite thing, you may or may not know that at this level, you have a lot of committees and a lot of people. And my favorite thing is the whole brainstorming. We come together, we brainstorm, we learn, we try things. Then we ask for feedback and we try to implement that and do something better the next time. So brainstorming is my favorite thing.
I love it. Paula.
What Dennis said and what Debbie Jo said.
Great answer, but no. Elaborate.
You know, I have to say this year, one of my favorite things is I guess it kind of has to do with what they both said, but to even take it a step further is to get to know these people that have so many different talents. We don't realize the talent that we have within our district. And until we get to sit down with them on a committee or sit down with them on a Zoom call or even face-to-face, which is even better, and we do get to do that once in a while, to see what everyone has to bring to the table. It's not all on your shoulders. Leadership is everything that everybody has said, but it's your team and it's the talent that your team brings to the table.
Thank you, Paula. Vicky.
I have to say, I'm a little bit selfish in what I like best about the position, because the first thing that I really love is the amount of growth I have experienced in the position. I see differences in myself. And friends, I've been a Toastmaster, if you haven't heard, for 30 years. So you would think I might know things, but I obviously am a slow learner, as I've said before. I have really grown. I've I've become aware of Toastmasters as an international nonprofit organization that's being run totally by volunteers. It's an incredible experience. The other thing that I have learned is the way to come together. You know, the trio comes together, and although there may be some experience we've kind of met, we really don't know each other, but we have developed into such a wonderful team together. People often say, what do you do? And I'm going to use this, ladies, so you can't use it later, but we always are trying to identify our lanes. What is our specific responsibility? And our team has come to work together, and we realize we really like carpooling because the job is so much easier when we're all working together. Certainly we have our individual responsibilities, but in a leadership position, and this is actually true at every level that I've been in, but at the trio level, I really feel it very, very strongly because of the bigger sense of responsibility for the position. Thank you, Maria.
I love that, Vicki. I have witnessed the carpooling. Thankfully, I'm also along the ride very often. Let's hear same question for Marie.
Thank you, Maria. I think for me in my position as division director, my biggest aha, my biggest fun was working with those area directors in their various personalities and seeing them go from being scared and frustrated and shy perhaps to flourishing by the end of the year. And there were quite a few examples of that. So that was really my biggest, I think that was my favorite part of it all, was just working with those individuals and seeing the change and seeing them discover their strengths and work in that strength. So thank you for that question.
Thank you, Marie. Felicia?
I'm going with Marie. The area directors make the biggest difference. I was honored because my area directors care. They love their clubs. And when I realized that they actually had compassion for their clubs, it changed me. They were not just checking boxes. They were not just going through the process, but they actually were concerned when clubs weren't doing well, when people weren't available or not showing up to meetings. They cared and they wanted to help them, and almost help them to the point of, being in there with them, rolling up their sleeves, going to meetings, taking roles. They really wanted them to be successful. And that changed me because I didn't know that people truly cared that much. You hear it, but to be up close to it made a difference. It did. And I'll say the other thing is being a division director, being an area director helped me through COVID. I will just tell you the truth. If I didn't see all your smiling faces for the last 2 years, who knows? So I appreciated having that connection when we didn't have the connection. Thank you, Maria.
All right, Rachel Assignon.
Thank you, Maria. One of my favorite parts about being an area director was seeing the inner workings of Toastmasters International at the area and division and even at the district level. Being a member of the district executive committee really was a game changer for me, and learning all of the resources and support system that are there for area directors. I was only in Toastmasters about 2.5 years when I was tapped by my angel's name as Pim to become area director. And right away, just being embraced by division directors and fellow area directors and the trio and so many people that are chairs, it was amazing, the level of support. Thank you for the question.
Thank you, Rachel. Rachel Sutton.
So aside from the connections you make with people, which is something I mentioned earlier, on a more personal growth level, just the feeling you get after you overcome an obstacle, that moment where you reach the other side and you realize what you just accomplished, and now moving forward, applying it to other areas of your life, sort of like Felicia mentioned, in a professional setting and also in a personal setting. It's kind of like if you trained to run a mile
and you can only walk to start with, but you finally get to the point where you can run it, and how good it feels once you have that strength. So it was overcoming obstacles was a thrill.
Beautiful. Edith.
For me, my favorite part has been walking into that unknown of the assignment, because like somebody said, feeling the feeling and do it anyways, and finding that the path to success is being led by those before you and those walking with you. And that has been probably one of the most rewarding things that I can feel as a chair. I can do chairs anytime because I know somebody's going to be there holding hands and putting the lights so I can walk that path.
Barbara?
Everybody has said so many wonderful things, and it's really hard to say more. It's the people. It's always the people. Everything is the people. But the people, not only do I get to serve them, I get to watch them grow, but I am being stretched and learning. And as conference chair, a role I swore I would never do, on my honor, I said that. I am learning to be a little more imaginative, a little more creative, and pulling a little bit more from every person who they'll say something, I'll go, that's it, okay. And we've been thinking about this, and someone else. So all of us become this amazing, I saw Joe put it up, the fireworks, so many wonderful ideas sparking at the same time. And the joy of all of us coming together with such a beautiful decision and such creativity and imagination. So we're all learning together. We're all stretching together in a role I swore I would never do, but I am so blessed to have decided to take it.
I love that. I love that. Well, I'm looking at the clock and I'm like, I want to hear more. I want to hear more. So we're going to go this round very quickly, and we're going to reverse and listen to the other side of the coin. So what is your least favorite part of the job? And we'll go backwards so that they can steal your answers. Let's go with Barbara, Edith, and then we'll go very quickly. Let's roll.
It's getting people to see their value and come work with me. Everybody has so much to offer, and they're so afraid that they'll fail or that it'll take up too much time. So getting them to see their value and having them come take the walk with me.
Edith.
For me, it's about making sure that we walk this path together, because communication and leadership are hand to hand. And the more you learn it, the more you want to keep growing it.
Thank you. Rachel Sutton?
For me, it's sending out multiple mass emails in succession. I always feel bad when I have several pieces of information to share, and I know we already have quite a full inbox.
Thank you. I can relate, right? Rachel Assignon?
For me as an area director, it was making sure I got all of my area visits done at a certain amount of time and getting the reports. And the reports aren't hard, but sometimes if you don't know enough about that club, it's difficult to make recommendations that maybe they've tried and failed or things like that. But it's a partnership, and that's where those resources and partnerships come into play with those clubs as well, as they help you along with some of that too. But there is a little bit of burden of administrative work at times, not all the time, but it goes in seasons, like Felicia said with the contests. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Partnerships. How about Felicia?
Contest.
One word. All right, Marie?
My least favorite part was keeping track of all of those wonderful details of the job, and then reminding the people who hadn't quite fulfilled their roles to step up and do it and set the date. So that was my least favorite part.
Okay, thank you, Marie. Vicky?
Budget, working on the budget.
I know, I saw part of that, and I know it's very detailed. Paula?
I think it is when you send out multiple emails and requests and people don't respond, either they're not looking at their emails, they're not answering them, or maybe we have the wrong email for them. So a good, clear form of communication when we know people are going to read it, see it, answer it.
Excellent. Thank you. Good call to action to make sure our emails are correctly displayed on Toastmasters International so we can reach it, right? Debbie.
The hardest thing for me was learning to delegate, because I'm good at doing things on my own. But the more you have to do, the more you become willing to let other people, to let go and let other people shine with your guidance. And they won't do it the way that you would have done it, but they will do it to the very best of their ability, and they will learn and grow. Thank you.
Pim?
The least favorite is having to serve during the pandemic, because that's a whole different world. But I didn't get a chance to say about what is the best part about it.
Oh,
The
I
best
see.
part,
Sorry.
it's okay, I will do it now.
Do
The
it.
best part about serving in my position as the trio was that I get the opportunity to show people like me, whose English is a second language, that there is an opportunity to go up the leadership ladders step by step, as long as you work hard and you're committed. And that's what I want to say.
Thank you, Pim. Sorry I missed you on that one. Let's wrap this question up with Dennis.
Well, first of all, Paula, I'm sorry. I'll try to do better in the future. And Debbie, you and I have the same disease about delegation, but I did learn to do it. I think my least favorite part of every position I've ever been in is not being able to accomplish everything I wanted for the members. There's an old, we all understand this that have been in leadership. You know, most of these roles last for a year. The international directorship lasts for 2 years, but just about the time you figure out how you're supposed to be doing it, it's time to move on to the next role. And so just that idea that I had to leave things behind as I moved forward, that really was not fun for me.
Well, Dennis, this next question is for you. How does serving at the district level translate? And I know you searched through all of the same roles that Vicky and Paula and Debbie Jo and Pim have served, and they're serving now. How does it translate into your personal growth, that day to day? That was for you, Dennis.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you said Debbie. I thought somebody had stolen my question. It really does translate very well. I think that in personal growth, you grow in confidence. I think that's what Toastmasters was really all about. If we had a product, it would be self-confidence, because everything grows out of that. But it's becoming more confident in yourself, realizing that you can do these things that you absolutely didn't believe you could. And then on a professional growth level, a lot of people have echoed those things tonight already. Learning how to do these things that you have to do as a leader outside of Toastmasters. Delegation is a big thing. Knowing how to evaluate people in a productive and positive way. You know, knowing how to do all of the things that everybody has said. I think that serving at the district level, I've heard this said before, and I think it's really true. I had a friend of mine that I had a training with in New Orleans, and he has a MBA from a very prestigious school. And we were district governors together. And his comment was at our last training, I have learned more about leadership and being a district governor than I ever did in my MBA. And I think that that really is true. Thank you.
Wow. Wow. Thank you. Thank you, Dennis. Question for Debbie. Debbie, tell us, how are the leaders determined?
Thank you, Maria. Well, if you want to get an MBA in Toastmasters, division directors and above are elected. So you have to nominate yourself or be nominated, go through the process, be interviewed by PIM's team, and then you have to campaign and you're elected. I hope I'm answering the question that you are asking me. And then for area directors, there's a process. You fill out an application, you go through an interview process with Paula, And what I did last year, I'm sure she'll do the same, is we have a discussion about what does it take to be an area director? What's the time commitment? What are the things you have to do throughout the year? And then if we both feel it's a good fit, then she will make the offer to you to become an area director at that level.
I just
Thank
had
you.
a flashback to the moment when Dennis interviewed me for area director several years ago. All right, speaking
Thank
of
you,
Paula, speaking to Paula, what are the restrictions that come with this opportunity other than those that we know that are associated with contest?
Restrictions, there's really not a lot of restrictions. We work as a team, so all of the opportunities, whether it's an area director, division director, or trio, we work together. And some people, like Vicki mentioned earlier, some people say stay in your lane. We all have a lane that we're assigned. However, being that we work as a team, we carpool, as Vicki said earlier. And I have to say that other districts are stealing that phrase. So if you hear it anywhere else, it started here. All right. But restrictions other than contests, really, I don't believe that there are very many restrictions at all. It is a volunteer position. All of these are volunteer positions. There are time restrictions that are called upon, whether it be contests and certain things like that, you have time restrictions. However, as far as any other restrictions, the money comes out of your own pocket, but you do get reimbursed for some of the things like travel. If you're on deck, you get reimbursed for travel. And if it's a business meeting or a council meeting, we provide you the food. So there's a lot of perks. I think there's a lot more perks than there are restrictions.
Excellent.
Thank you for that question.
DEC, District Executive Committee, right? So I have a very important question for our newer member of the trio this year. And Vicki, this question is for you. What would you say to somebody that's on the fence?
Hello, Toastmasters and friends. I walked that fence for many years, and I actually like to say I kind of circled the pool, you know, and sometimes I dipped my feet in the shallow end and I started there. But for many years, I just avoided the deep end altogether because I was pretty sure I didn't know how to swim with those fishes. But ultimately, all of those angels on my shoulder and my experience with all of the wonderful people that you do encounter, because that is the biggest perk for all of us, encourage me to just jump in the water, jump in the deep end and go for it, because there are lifeguards all around you. You are going to swim. You are not going to drown. You are going to get to the edge. In fact, you might even go back for a few more laps because it's that much fun and that much of a positive experience. So if you're sitting on the fence or you're circling the pool, this is truly on-the-job training. Just jump in and get wet.
I love it. Dennis, I think you want to add something real quick, and then we're going to turn this over to our immediate past district director, Pim Parpart.
Yeah, just really quick, we were talking about things that you gain in your professional life and your personal life. One of the things, and I think we've had a great, year after year, we have great leaders, and they develop this ability, but that is to see potentials in others. I think that's one of the greatest attributes that a leader can have, is to be able to see someone who does not believe in themselves, who doesn't think they can do it, and try to encourage them to keep moving forward. Thank you very much for letting me add that.
Thank you. Final word from our past international director, Dennis Waldridge. I think one of the best things that we all experience, the growth, the confidence that we develop, is the relationships. I love that I look at these people and they're all my friends. They're all my mentors. They're all there for me if I need them and when I need them. And I want you guys to help me thank them for being a part of this panel tonight, because this has been exciting and inspiring, and we have learned so much from each of you. Thank you for giving a little time of your Thursday evening to share with us. At this time, I would like to welcome back to the virtual lectern our immediate past district director, Pim Parpart, who is leading the nominations committee this year.
Thank you, Maria. Thank you, everyone, for participating. Friends, future new leaders of District 84, one of my mottos in life is to just do it. So you're thinking about it right now. Just do it now. And you think about getting that DTM someday. Now is the time to get that district service credit. Just think about it. If I can do it, you can do it too. Just do it. Back to you, Maria.
Thank you, Pim. And again, there are several links that are being posted on the chat box for your information, because tonight we want to empower you to make that decision, to reach out to somebody, to submit your application, to look into the position a little further, or perhaps even connect with one of us on the panel tonight, because I know we are all here to support you. Let's watch a short video as we start to wrap things up, and then we're going to look at that chat box, and if there are any questions that we can answer tonight, we will go through those. But first, Sue.
Hello, district leader candidates. I'm Margaret Page, your international president, here with a message about district leader elections. Your campaign for office is your chance to embody our core values of integrity, respect, service, and excellence. And as you move forward, I encourage you to combine these ideals with a positive focus. Doing so will elevate yourself and your campaign, no matter the outcome. This is your opportunity to outline your own accomplishments while detailing how you intend to serve members in your own district. Be sure to share your qualifications, such as leadership experience, Toastmasters education history, and years of membership. These experiences will help you thrive in an elected role. Remember to only provide information that is verifiable through Toastmasters channels, including the dashboard and the statistics and data hub. Craft a campaign message that will resonate with your district. Focus on strategies you will implement if elected and how those strategies will benefit clubs and members. Please remember that speaking negatively about your opponents or engaging in dialogue that may be considered negative runs counter to our values. I urge you to avoid it at all costs, especially on social media. If someone posts negative responses on your campaign's social media pages, remove them and set a positive example that will inspire your district's members. Last, but certainly not least, remember to follow Policy 3.0, Section 6 on political ethics. I wish you all the best in your campaign. If you're fortunate enough to be elected, you will have the opportunity to help shape the future of our great organization, Toastmasters.
But thank you, everybody. On behalf of District 84, I want to thank you for being in attendance to this, our first, I'm calling the inaugural panel interview. So I foresee future years doing similar events just like this. In the meantime, I also want to thank Leslie Laforte, our timer and logistics manager and big podcaster, just like DJ. I also want to thank Sue, our Zoom magnificent moderator, chair, and all things magical. And I want to thank again all of our panelists for being here today, for sharing their talent, their wisdom, their support, and their love for what they do. And last but not least, thanks to all of you who are here with us in person, who are watching on Facebook, and who will be watching this replay. I invite you to take that step of courage and action and at least find out what else is out there. And I know I speak for Dennis and Tim and Paula and Vicky and Debbie Jo when I say we're here for you. If there's anything that we can do to help you, to support you, to mentor you along the way, please do not hesitate to reach out. All of our contact information is on the program that we have uploaded into the chat. And as I look at the time and it's 8 o'clock, I'm going to say good night, everybody. Remember that you're never too old to dream a new dream or set a new goal. And we're here to walk that path with you. Good night, everybody. Thank you so much. This panel has been completed. I appreciate you all.
Thanks for coming, everybody.
Thanks for coming. And
Thanks,
thank you,
everyone.
Maria.